Hello YouTube, my name is Paul. Hope you're all keeping well. I'm back today then with my SEGA Mega Drive collection videos. This will probably be the first of maybe 3 or 4 videos, I'm not entirely sure yet. It's a console I first bought in 1990, I think it's sometime around December time, on the back of selling my Atari ST-FM to a good friend of mine. My intention was always to get an Atari STE. I did toy around with the idea of getting an Amstrad Plus at the time, but funds were quite short, so I think I spent some of the money on other things and then decided to go for the Mega Drive. I bought it from Woolies in Brixton, I think it was. I'm sure it was December 1990s, it was just before Christmas. The Altered Beast pack, as you can see there just over my right hand side, shoulder. Yeah, so the only downside with buying a Mega Drive though were the games were so blinking expensive. It was about £45 a pop if I remember rightly, so I bought very few of them indeed. In fact, I only ever bought one game for the entire 18 months, 2 years that I had the system for. Most of my games I got from a good friend of mine, or borrowed from other people that I knew. My best mate at the time had a Japanese Mega Drive, so I used to borrow some of his games, but I had to cut out the corners from the cartridge slot to fit them in. He had great games like Midnight Resistance, which never came out in the PAL regions. He also had Strider, I'm sure he had Gynorg, he had Mickey Mouse, Castle of Illusion, some absolutely stonking games. And these games, I think, all came out before the release in the UK of the SEGA Mega Drive. So before it came out, it had a massive library anyway. I think it's been out in Japan for a couple of years. So yeah, I'm not intending to go for a full set. I have toyed with the idea, and I've probably had every single game through my hands over the last 5 years for the system. But there's so many duffers in there, like any other system really, that I thought, do you know what, I'm going to collect the games I used to really love playing. The games that are really hard to get, and that's it really. So I've not played all of them, not even half of them to be honest, but what I'd like to do over the next sort of few months or couple of years or so is actually play every single one of them and then lose anything that I don't really want to keep anymore. So yes, so basically then I'll take you over to the Mega Drive where I'll have a talk around that as per usual, and I'll see you in a mo. Welcome back. This is my SEGA Mega Drive, or the one that's in my collection. It's not my original, unfortunately, like so many of my systems. This was the one I had back in the day, which is the Altered Beast pack, which included the stereo sound and high definition graphics. Not quite sure why it said that, but I'm sure the second iteration of the machine also had high definition graphics. It just had an inferior sound chip, which I only recently found out, and it was quite interesting listening to a comparison video because the difference is quite stark. So yeah, so when I was younger, consoles didn't really do a lot for me. I was much more a computer person. So when I actually looked at it, it was quite boring to look at, so nothing special. Obviously it's highly nostalgic now, but you had the on-off switch, the reset button, volume control for the headphones. I think it was the first machine I ever had headphones for. So that was a bit novel. But the one thing I did really like about the Mega Drive was its control pad. So instead of just having the one button joysticks that we used to have years ago, or having 4 button joysticks that only did one blinking thing, we now had something that had multiple buttons. Absolutely fantastic. See, I've got 2 models in the collection. I've got the later Mark 1 iteration and original version of the console. There are obviously SEGA Mega Drive 2s. Like I said before, I'm not a console collector, as in like I want loads of variants of the same machine, because they take up too much space, cost a lot of money, and I'm not an electrician. So in terms of repairing them and keeping them serviced, that might cost me quite a bit of money, because these things do tend to go wrong. So yeah, when the machine came out, it came out with various different peripherals. I always remember wanting to get one of those arcade sticks. They're absolutely immense. I think they're about 50 quid, I might be wrong, but I always wanted to get one. The Master System converter, I had no use for one of those because I never had a Master System. Like I said before, I had a Sinclair Spectrum and Atari ST before I got a Mega Drive. And lovely, lovely amounts of games. Look at that. Quite a few of those games I've got in the collection now, and quite a few of those games I played back in the day. And just currently running a copy of Altered Beast through the RF cable, so looking pretty good. So yeah, I was most impressed with the graphics on the Mega Drive, especially as I had an ST, but when you actually look at the scrolling, it's silky smooth. Absolutely incredible. Not a jerky pixel in sight. See you for the next bit.
Planet Earth, a scientist creates the ultimate machine.
At last!
A machine that will give him the power to journey into the Mega World. With thousands of colors, 16-bit graphic technology, and 10-channel Mega Stereo sound. The most advanced video game system in the universe.
Yes!
Mega Drive from SEGA.
Well, welcome back to my favourite section, which is the games. Again, the Mega Drive, I reckon I'm going to have about 3 videos. I've got about, I don't know, 80 or so black labelled games, or Black Spine games. I reckon I've got a similar amount of Blue Spine and a similar amount of third party. Again, this lot is probably my most nostalgic period. Some cracking games in here that I remember really well. Even the ones I never played, I do remember them being reviewed in magazines. So yeah, I'll crack straight on with these games then. So most of these would have been from the early days of the Mega Drive. Surprisingly, not many of these games are highly valuable. Most of them are well, most of these lot are quite desirable, and most of them are very good games, but nothing's really worth a fortune. First one's Mercs, which I think is an arcade conversion. Good game. Game I spent absolutely hours on. In fact, probably days actually. It's different to the arcade, but it's Super Mario Grand Prix. Absolutely fantastic game that was. Game I've never played is Two Crude Dudes. Sorry about the reflections and that, but I really can't be bothered to take all these out of their plastic protectors and put them all back again. I wonder if these things actually do any damage to the sleeves inside, because obviously it might trap any kind of moisture you might get inside the actual cases. Who knows? It doesn't seem to do any damage from what I can see. Zeroing, that is, sorry. On a tangent there, wasn't I? So Zeroing's a really good shooter, quite desirable. Seems to hold its value, that one. Another one I never played, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Something to do with the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Another arcade conversion, DJ Boy. One of the earliest games I ever played on a Mega Drive, and my friend had the Japanese version of this. Absolutely put the Atari ST and Amiga versions to shame. And that's Strider. Again, I finished this one. Like I said back then, I didn't really have many games, so when I did play them, I played them till I beat them. Never played this one. Flicky. Another classic image from way back is Rambo 3. Completely different to the home computer versions in the late 80s. It's more akin to the arcade version. And speaking of arcade conversions, is Toki. Played this game quite a bit on the Commodore Amiga, but this version is very good. A game I never played, Quackshot. There is an alternative variant of this, which I think comes with World of Illusion as well, under the Blue Spine label. One of my favourite Mega Drive games of all time, The Secret of Shinobi, Shadow Dancer. What a game! Absolutely stunning game, that one. Again, quite similar to Flying Shark is Twin Hawk. There's a couple of games like this on the Mega Drive, if I remember rightly. Good shooter. A decent conversion. Unfortunately, us in the UK were given absolutely crap ports of this game on our home computers, but the game in question is Outrun. Not a bad conversion at all. Another game I spent many hours playing was Alex Kidd. The Enchanted Castle. Another Mega Drive conversion which was similar, well similar, but it's a bit different to the arcade, and that's eSWAT. Played this one for hours as well. Really good game. Really early release as well. don't think I've played this version of Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy in Monster World. I've played a Wonder Boy, but I can't remember which one it was. Kind of go into shops and buy things with your coins. It might have been that one, it might have been the other one. Thunder Force 2. Early shooter on the Mega Drive. Game I've never played, Shining in the Darkness. Same as this one really. I don't think I've ever played any of these games actually. Shining Force. Wasn't into this sort of thing when I was younger. Probably something I appreciate a bit more now though. Captain America and the Avengers. One of the last games I picked up earlier in the year. I love this in the arcade. I don't think any home versions did it any justice though. It's a Super Thunderblade. I remember having this on the Spectrum. It was grim. Again, I never played this one, but I know it's highly desirable. Is Landstalker. The Treasures of King Noel. So I'll probably give this game a go at some point. Another arcade conversion, another early release is Alien Storm. Yeah, I've not had this very long either actually. Ranger X. This game fluctuates quite a lot in price. Sometimes it's quite cheap and sometimes it goes for about 40-50 quid. Phantasy Star 2. Again, I think all these Phantasy Star games come with batteries, so it's worth checking them out if you've got copies. Phantasy Star 3. Another early release is Ghostbusters. I know they're all quite early-ish releases, but I remember seeing games like Ghostbusters on the initial launch of the Mega Drive. Outrun 2019, not a particularly great game. Sort of cashing in on the old Outrun franchise there. California Games. I recently sold the second edition, or second copy, sorry, not second copy, the sequel. It didn't get particularly great reviews and I couldn't really be bothered to play it, to be honest. Sequel to one of my favourite games again on the Mega Drive is Golden Axe 2. There's a Golden Axe 3, but I think it's only in NTSC regions. A game I remember on the 16-bit home computers, Bonanza Brothers. A very early release is Columns. Kind of the same premise as Tetris really. A classic which I've recently got on another system is Splatterhouse 2. Good hack and slash that one. Now this is the only Shinobi I'm not really spending much time on really, is Shinobi 3 Return of the Ninja Master. Like I said, I'm looking forward to cracking on with some of these games in the new year. Spending a bit of time on them. Decap Attack. And a recent-ish addition is Gain Ground. Again, I never played this one. I've heard good things about it. Another early release was Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. I played this one for a long time as well. It's took a little while to get used to the controls because it's got that a 360 kind of arc, I think, a bit similar to Midnight Resistance. I remember that taking a bit of time to get used to as well, but that's Forgotten Worlds. Absolutely fantastic conversion, that is. I played that one as well till I completed it. I played this one quite a bit as well. Like I said, it's one of the only games that I managed to borrow for some time. It was World Cup Italia 90. It's alright. That classic prequel I was talking about earlier, Golden Axe. Again, I think I finished that one and all. Shoot 'em up I've never played. Is it Phelios? I'm assuming it's a shooter. Yeah. Cheeky boys. Or Chicky boys, whatever that you pronounce that. Thunder Force 4. Really good shooter. A classic, another one of those brutally hard arcade conversions. Ghouls and Ghosts. A better conversion than the 16-bit home computer versions, I tell you that. Another classic I spent many hours playing and completed was The Revenge of Shinobi. Absolute diamond of a game that is. Really classic shoot 'em up again, Truxton. I think I played this back in the day. I can't remember. There was a particular shoot 'em up I did play a lot of, but I can never remember what it was called. Can't remember for the life of me what it is. Decent conversion of an arcade game here, Street Fighter 2 Special Championship Edition. Underrated game in my opinion is Crackdown. Had this on my Atari ST and really enjoyed it. Dynamite Duke, or Dynamite Duke. Another arcade conversion, very early release. Never really got into this one too much. Sonic the Hedgehog Spinball. Is it Mazing Wars? Another really good shoot 'em up. So I've heard. I've not played this one before either. Toe Jam and Earl. Oh, another cracking game I used to play a lot of. Reminds me a little bit of Sly Spy Secret Agent. Is Rolling Thunder 2. Really good game. Disney's Aladdin. Ah, there we are. Fire Shark is the other shoot 'em up I was thinking about with planes. Quite similar to Flying Shark actually. Wonder Boy 3 Monster's Lair, is it? I think. Classic Run and Gun, Gunstar Heroes. I'll shoot 'em up. Hellfire. Fatal Fury. I don't think I've played this one before. Super Fantasy Zone. I don't think I've ever played that before either. So I mean, I've got plenty to get stuck into anyway. I think that's a bit of a shoot 'em up. Speaking of shoot 'em ups, this was one of the earliest shoot 'em ups I played on a Mega Drive, and in fact probably still one of my favourite games on the Mega Drive actually, is Gynog. What a cracking game that was. Speaking of another cracking game, Streets of Rage. Oh, I absolutely adored this one back in the day. I love those street brawling games, and this one was like the pinnacle. Absolutely fantastic game. And its sequel's even better, Streets of Rage 2. And for those collectors out there is actually another variant of this. It's got a blue spine cart. Must have came out right before they changed the blue spined inlays. Snake, Rattle and Roll. Never played this one to be honest. Greatest heavyweights. Another classic that I remember very well, Batman. Really good soundtrack from what I remember. Decent game as well. Never really gave this one much time. Battletoads. Not really my cup of tea, I don't think. Not heard great things about it anyway. But I've heard great things about this one because this one is a legend of its time. Castle of Illusion. Starring Mickey Mouse. This again I played till I finished it. What an amazing platformer this is. Turbo Outrun. A game I don't really enjoy on any format, to be honest. Mega Drive version is not a bad conversion, no. The legendary blue hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog. Played this game quite a lot back in the day. Absolutely a revolutionary game this was. The speed of it was unbelievable, unrivaled for its time. Super Hang-On, a really good conversion. X-Men. Completely missed the camera there. Alicia Dragoon, again never played this one. Dick Tracy, another early release. Again, I don't think I've played this one too much either. And finally, this one took me ages to get, probably one of the last games to get on my collection actually, is Fatal Fury 2. I literally had to buy someone's entire collection to get this, because every time I went to bid on it, I always got outbid. And you're always worried about those twats that keep pushing your bids up, aren't you? So you never kind of disclose your full bidding potential. But that's it for my black labelled or black spined Mega Drive games. See you in the last part. Well, thank you for watching my Mega Drive black sleeved episode. I've had to put the lights on because it's absolutely hammering it down outside. It's gone really dark and miserable. But more of a lighter note, thank you very much for all my new subscribers. I've now achieved the milestone of 100. At this point in the video, I'm on 109 subs, so thank you very much for subscribing, and thank you very much for leaving comments and interacting with me. So brilliant stuff. I'd like to shout out a few YouTubers who have given me shout outs over the last few weeks. The first one is Ash81Before thank you very much, Ash. Ash is an Amiga collector, an Amstrad collector, and he collects for other systems as well. And he's also after a full set Psygnosis Amiga collection, so well done, mate. Blutonic78, Alex, again has been on YouTube for many years, collector of, again, Amiga, ST, known to have an Amstrad collection, Super Nintendo pickups. He talks about vinyl records, talks about Man City, Bournemouth, Athletic Football Club. Yeah, so thank you, Alex. Without you, mate, I would not have hit my 100 mark, so thank you very much for the shout out. Tootie UK, we all know Tootie, collector extraordinaire. Yeah, lives in a blast furnace, I hear. Without further ado, Retro, what a name. Bloody hell, you could have picked a smaller name, mate. Christ, took up half the flipping text on my screen. But thank you for the shout-outs as well, mate. Fellow collector for the Amiga, Super Nintendo, Mega Drive, I think he collects everything. Cine Steve, again, thank you very much for all your comments. You leave lots of comments, mate. Very constructive comments. Again, it's only one game away from a full Dreamcast set. So check him out. He's doing really well. Lovely games room. Plenty of plenty of variety in that room. Novabug. Novabug obviously has been following my channel since the beginning. Once I've done a VR to him for one of his Friday foursomes. So thank you very much, Novabug, for the shout outs. And that's it. So heartfelt thanks to you all for subscribing and for shouting me out. And I'll see you again this time next week, hopefully. Bye for now.